It's a gorgeous 64-degree afternoon at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium, setting the stage for a rematch between two of the top teams in the Peach Belt Conference. It's Game 2 featuring the number 1 ranked team in the nation, North Georgia Nighthawks, and the Flagler College Saints in a best-of-3 series on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Alongside the rest of the NSN crew, Robert DiClemente on hand for you this afternoon. If you're just now joining us for Game 2, great to have you with us. If you're coming back from Game 1, glad to have you back. Game 1 saw the Saints come away with a 5-3 win to take down North Georgia on the road for the first time since 2014. As we are already underway here in Game 2, a quick out for the Nighthawks gives us our first here in game number 2. A 4-run first inning followed by another run in the second was ultimately enough to put the game away for Flagler. Nighthawks in the bottom of the 7th tried to mount a comeback, posting 3 runs, but ultimately ended up falling short in the end. So we should be in for a great Game 2 as the Nighthawks look to rebound here and show everyone why they're the top-ranked team in the country. And the Saints looking for their biggest PBC series win of the season this afternoon. So it's the Nighthawks and the Saints ready for battle here in game number 2, as this is going to be popped up into left. Blair is there to make the routine play for 2 quick outs now in the top of the first, which brings Hannah Smith back up to bat here for the Saints this afternoon, her first appearance here in game number 2. And Smith was red hot up to bat for the Saints in game 1. Saw the most success at the plate, was 3 for 4. She had an RBI as well. She's going up against one of the best pitchers in not just the Peach Belt Conference, but in the nation, in Tybee Denton. Gets the start in the circle for Coach Davenport and the Nighthawks here in Game 2. We saw a short-lived appearance for Kristen Davis in Game 1. And Delaney Heberlin came in, tried to finish the job for the Nighthawks. But we've mentioned time and time again that duo of Tybee Denton and Kristen Davis, one of the best you'll see in the Peach Belt Conference, has 3 routine plays here from this Nighthawk outfield is going to bring us to the bottom of the first, where Mariah Wicker is going to lead things off when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Back with you here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in the Gold City of Dahlonega as we are underway here in Game 2 of this Peach Belt Conference series between North Georgia, the number 1 team in the Peach Belt Conference, and Flagler, the number 3 team in the Peach Belt Conference. Nighthawks trying to get their revenge on the Saints here in Game 2. And Mariah Wicker is going to lead things off here for North Georgia. And it's only a matter of time before Mariah Wicker starts to find a rhythm here this afternoon. Had an uncharacteristic game in Game 1, went 0 for 5 at the plate as the Nighthawks lead off batter, and a perfectly placed bunt by Mariah Wicker up the left field line as she gets her first hit of the afternoon, a staple in her game. She's able to outrun her bunt there that stays fair, which brings Sophie Mooney up to bat here in game number 2. And Mooney in game 1 was absolutely sensational. 4 for 4 at the plate, did everything she could to try to keep North Georgia in this game. But we're going to have to wait to see Sophie Mooney here for a minute, as Mariah Wicker is going to get another crack at it here, as that bunt was just fouled. So Mariah is still looking for her first hit this afternoon as she sees ball 2 outside. And getting the start in the circle for the Saints here in game number 2 is Rachel Hester. Hester, a junior out of Navarre, Florida, also graduated from Navarre High School, gets the start in game number 2. She's posted a 3.85 ERA this season and 56 innings of work for the Saints. As this 1-2 pitch is going to be fouled out of play. So a 1-2 count for Mariah Wicker. Sophie Mooney on deck for North Georgia. And the 1-2 pitch. A swing and a miss as Hester strikes out the Nighthawks' leadoff batter. Didn't see a whole lot of strikeouts in game 1 from either side. Didn't see a single one from Kristen Davis or Delaney Heberlin. Just saw a couple from Flagler's pitchers, but we get our first one early here in game 2. And now Sophie Mooney is up to bat here for the Nighthawks, who, as we just mentioned, was a perfect 4 for 4 in game 1. As she sees a strike right down the middle there from Hester. Nighthawks batting order identical in this one as it was in game 1. As we mentioned time and time again, Mooney, one of those do-it-all players for Coach Davenport and the Nighthawks, as Mooney fouls this one out of play for a 2-2 count. Whether Sophie's up to batter in the circle or on first for North Georgia. The Swiss Army knife on this Nighthawk roster, as the count's going to run full for Mooney. And the payoff pitch. This is driven high into right, and that's going to get off of the glove of the right fielder over there. And James says Mooney is having herself a day here for the Nighthawks. Now 5 for 5 this afternoon, and her third double. So up comes Georgia Blair here in game number 2. Blair went 1 for 4 at the plate in game 1. She's this team's leader in RBIs this season. She's got the speedster Mooney over there on second now. Finds herself in a 1-0 count against Hester. This is going to be upstairs for ball 2. And we mentioned this in game 1, but Mooney, not just today, but all season, has been a double machine. She now has 15 this season, which are 11th most in the country. As this one's going to cut it inside the zone to push the count to 2-1. Georgia Blair's 31 RBIs this season, leads the team, had 43 last year, which was a career high. So it's well in the cards to see her absolutely surpass that mark this year. And the 3-1 pitch. This is tipped and fouled behind home plate. And the count is going to run full for Georgia Blair. As we mentioned, this Nighthawks batting order remaining identical to Game 1, with Katie Ward on deck, followed by Mallory Parker, Grayson Perry, Sydney Blair, Gracie Mixon, and Riley Moody. It's going to round out that batting order here for the Nighthawks in Game 2. The payoff pitch, again, this one fouled. So Georgia Blair is going to get another crack at it here. And another staple for Georgia Blair this season has become sac flies. She has 5 total, which are the third most nationally. Another payoff pitch as Blair drives this one into center, and Mooney is going to stop in her tracks over there at third, and Georgia Blair finds herself in a pickle as Mooney is able to not slide back into third. But Blair is safe at second. Mooney thought about making a break for it to home. That's going to give us 2 outs now. And a runner still on second. This time being Georgia Blair brings Katie Ward up to bat here for North Georgia. Ward was also 1 for 4 at the plate in Game 1. Sees a strike down the middle there from Hester. We mentioned this in Game 1, but Katie Ward has been on a tear the past 2 weeks, a home run machine for the standout sophomore. As the Saints are going to talk things over here in the circle, and Katie Ward just 15 days ago did not have a single collegiate home run, and in the past 15 days, she's accumulated 3 in one game against Georgia Southwestern. So it's a 1-1 count for Katie Ward. The sophomore out of Marietta, Georgia, sees a strike there from Hester. Makes it a 1-2 count. And the 1-2 pitch, a swing and a miss there from Katie Ward. Gives Hester her second strikeout of the afternoon, taking us to the top of the second. Still scoreless early in this one between North Georgia and Flagler. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Still scoreless in this one between North Georgia and Flagler here in game number 2 of this best-of-3 PBC series between 2 of the top 3 teams in the Peach Belt Conference. Cassidy Crump is going to lead things off here for the Saints in the top of the second. Crump still looking for her first hit of the afternoon. Not going to get it here as This is going to be hit right back to Sophie Mooney to give us a quick first out here in the top of the second. Which brings up Kyla Kinnear back up to bat as she swings hard on this one, but fouls it near Bob Stein Stadium to make it an 0-1 count. And the 0-1 pitch down the middle from Tybee Denton makes it an 0-2 count. And we mentioned in that first inning, Denton is not just one of the best pitchers in the Peach Belt Conference, but she's one of the best pitchers in the nation, has her name all over the Peach Belt Conference website, ranking in the top 10 in multiple different categories, has the lowest ERA of any pitcher this season, 1.13 for the senior Tybee Denton. And the pitcher that's second is her teammate, Kristen Davis, posting a 1.46 ERA. Of course, we could see that number go down after today. Davis let up 5 runs in Game 1, an uncharacteristic game from one of the most dominant pitchers in the Peach Belt Conference, as it's now a 1-2 count. Flagler's batting order looks nearly identical as well. So we got a 2-2 count here as we get the double P signs from the home plate ump. And a swing and a miss is going to give Tybee Denton her first strikeout of the afternoon. So now up to bat for the first time here in Game 2 is Mackenzie Smith with 2 outs, no runners on for the Saints. Mackenzie Smith went 1 for 3 at the plate in Game 1 with 2 RBIs. Had one of the 7 hits for the Saints in Game 1. Sees 2 straight balls go past her there from Tybee to make it a 2-0 count. Again, this one's going to be upstairs from Tybee to make it a 3-0 count. Wouldn't expect to see Smith swing on this next pitch. And this one is going to be outside from Denton. So 4 straight balls thrown there is going to put a runner on first. With Riley Konowalchuk up to bat here in game number 2. The designated player for the Saints this afternoon. Still doesn't have a hit today. Looking for her first here. And on the season, Konowalchuk has been batting .314 coming into this afternoon with 27 hits on the season, 5 home runs, and 19 RBIs. So the junior out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, looking to make something happen here. She now finds herself down 1-2 in the count against Tybee Denton. Riley transferred to Flagler from Daytona State College. And the 1-2 pitch Inside from Tybee Denton, who's dealing early here with her second strikeout. Keeps the Saints off the board early here as we will step aside for a short commercial break. Still scoreless in this one. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
We have a long tradition of athletics at the University of North Georgia. For the past 50 years, our athletic programs have been making a difference for our university. And today, I'm really excited to talk about how we will take that to the next level. When you think about elite athletics, you think about elite performance. Mary Rob, tell me what that means to you.
So elite performance at the University of North Georgia is unique because we have a value proposition unlike anybody else in this country, where we're able to perform at the highest level because of our connections with our Corps of Cadets and our College of Health Sciences and Professions, coupled with our professionals from coaches, athletic trainers, support staff, and our Department of Athletics, where we're preparing our student athletes to battle on the field of competition, in the classroom, and in our community. We'll be elite in everything we do.
So today, we are really excited to announce our strategic bet, where we are going to deliver elite performance, elite competition, and the most value-adding Division II athletic program in America. Go Nighthawks.
Back with you here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium, where Mallory Parker is leading things off here for the Nighthawks in the top of the third. Still scoreless in this one from the bottom of the second. And Mallory Parker had quite the game for the Nighthawks in game number one. Went 2 for 4 at the plate. Sees ball 2 outside. And the 2-1 pitch, a swing and a miss there, a big swing there from Mallory Parker. That's going to make this thing a 2-2 count. And the 2-2 to number 2 is outside, and the count runs full for the senior out of Kennesaw, Georgia. Parker shows bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 4 upstairs. So the plate discipline paying off for Parker there. He's going to put a runner on first with Grayson Perry up to bat for the Nighthawks. Perry went 1 for 3 in game 1, serving as the Nighthawks' designated player. Also had a run scored while she was on base. As Perry fouls this one to make it an 0-1 count. Nighthawks returning to PBC play this afternoon after a doubleheader sweep over Montevallo on Tuesday afternoon. Nighthawks won game 1 9-1 in a run rule 5-inning game. And those bats were hot, specifically Mariah Wicker went 3 for 3 at the plate with 4 RBIs. Those 4 RBIs came by the way of a grand slam in the 4th to put that game away for North Georgia. Game 2 was a bit closer, the final score being 1-0. Nighthawks were able to take the lead in the bottom of the 5th with a home run from Riley Moody. And Tybee Denton had 8 strikeouts in this one, or in that game, getting the start in this one for North Georgia, as that wild pitch is going to send Parker to second. So a 1-2 count for Grayson Perry. As this is going to be popped up into left center field. And here come the Hawks as Parker is going to stop in her tracks over there at third. It looked like Coach Davenport was waving her home, but instead she'll stop right over there at third with a runner in scoring position now for Sydney Blair, who's up to bat for North Georgia. Blair went 1 for 2 in game 1. Nighthawks looking to take their first lead of the series here. In good position to do so now with no outs in the bottom of the second. Runners on second and third. And the 1-0 as Blair fouls this one out of play to make it a 1-1 count. Got Gracie Mixon on deck for North Georgia. As Blair keeps this one in the infield, throw to first is not going to get there on time. And just like that, the bases are loaded for North Georgia as the Saints couldn't make a play there. So now with still no outs in this bottom of the second, Gracie Mixon is up to bat here for the Nighthawks. Again, trying to give North Georgia their first lead of this series. Mixon also looking for her first hit this afternoon, went 0 for 3 in game 1. We saw the Nighthawks use some plate discipline in game 1, scoring a run with the bases loaded. And a walk on Riley Moody. And the 1-1 pitch to Mixon. Fouls this one behind her. And now finds herself down 1-2. Mixon coming into the weekend, batting .319 on the season, looking for her 24th hit this year on this at-bat. And the 1-2, as this is going to stay in the infield, throw to home, is going to get there on time for out number 1. But the bases are going to stay loaded for North Georgia, bringing Riley Moody up to bat. I mentioned earlier, Moody rounding out the batting order for the Nighthawks this afternoon. Moody was 1 for 3 in game 1, as we just mentioned. Saw her show the plate discipline in the bottom of the 7th, which put another run up on the board for North Georgia with the bases loaded. And the 0-1 as this is fouled. And Moody now quickly finds herself down 0-2 against Hester. Nighthawks leadoff batter Mariah Wicker is on deck. And the 0-2, again fouled out of play, so Moody's going to get another crack at it here. And coming into this weekend, both the Nighthawks and the Saints were on 5-game winning streaks. Nighthawks had that snapped in game 1. As Moody's going to take ball 1 low. And that 5-game winning streak for North Georgia came against Georgia Southwestern in a series sweep and a doubleheader win over Montevallo on Tuesday. Saints are now winners of 6 in a row, their second 6-game winning streak of the season. That's still their longest of the year. Haven't hit a 7-game winning streak this season. And the 1-2 pitch. Upstairs for ball 2. Base is still loaded for the Nighthawks. Moody shows bunt, pulls it back, and grounds this one into right. And here come the Hawks as they take their first lead of the series after that RBI from Riley Moody. Scores Grayson Perry, and the Nighthawks up 1-0 here in Game 2. And the bases are still loaded for North Georgia with Mariah Wicker back up to bat. Again, like we mentioned on Mariah's first at-bat, only a matter of time before she gets the bat warmed up here. And the 1-0. Cuts it inside that top left corner for strike 1. If you're wondering why you're seeing Mariah Wicker in the leadoff position and not Jolie Lester, it's because Lester unfortunately suffered an ACL injury back on March 12th in a doubleheader at Auburn Montgomery. And it's always really tough to see a player like Lester go down, whether you're a teammate, a coach, or a fan. And putting stats and all that aside, you hate to see something like that happen to Jolie the person, not just Jolie the player. But we know she's as tough as they come, and we wish her a speedy recovery. She's going to be back and with a vengeance. The 2-2 pitch to Mariah Wicker. She swings on that one and misses as the Saints and Hester pick up another strikeout, her third of the afternoon. And if you look closely, Mooney has flames coming off of her bat. She's 5 for 5 this afternoon. She takes ball 1 just outside. Mooney did everything she could in Game 1 to keep the Nighthawks' hopes alive. She grounds this one into left center field, and here come the Hawks as they're going to score 1 run, make that 2 runs. And just like that, the number 1 team in the country finds themselves up 3-0 here in Game 2 over the Saints. And a great answer here for North Georgia. After posting 3 runs in Game 1, all coming in the bottom of the 7th, now find themselves up 3-0 here in Game 2. So the Saints are going to talk things over here in the circle, as we saw some phenomenal pitching from Sheets in Game 1. Kept the Nighthawks off the scoreboard. And Hester's trying to follow in Sheets' footsteps. As we mentioned in Game 1, Sheets had the first perfect game in program history for Flagler back on Wednesday in Game 1 of their doubleheader against Allen University. So the Saints are carrying a lot of momentum coming into this game. That was a historic doubleheader victory for Flagler back on Wednesday. We saw them come out the gates hot in Game 1, go up 4-0 early in the first. The Nighthawks are trying to flip the script here in Game 2. Up 3-0 in the bottom of the second. Georgia Blair is back up to bat as this is hit well into right field and back at the wall. It's caught for out number 3 by the right fielder, James. As we head to the top of the third, but North Georgia's up 3-0 in game number 2. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Here in game number 2 between North Georgia and Flagler College, as the Nighthawks try to even the series at 1-1 after the Saints came away with the Game 1 victory about an hour ago here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium. Nighthawks find themselves up 3-0 with Kirsten James leading things off here for the Saints in the top of the third. James, a sophomore out of Woodstock, Georgia, graduated from Etowah High School. Seen her first action here in game number 2. As James pops this one up. Back at the net, and Georgia Blair is going to make the grab. And it looks like the Saints are trying to argue that the ball touched the net. Didn't look like it did there. Which is going to bring Paige Macetta up to bat here. She rounds out the batting order for Flagler. She sees a strike there from Tybee Denton. Paige still looking for her first hit this weekend. It was 0 for 2 in game 1 as she fouls this one onto Bob Stein Stadium over to the left of us here at Lynn Cottrell Park. Finds herself down 0-2 against Tybee Denton. As Denton throws one upstairs for ball 1. Tybee had 8 strikeouts against Montevallo back on Tuesday in game number 2. And her biggest of the day came in the top of the 7th with a tying run at second base. Was able to get the strikeout and secure her 8th of the afternoon. And the 2-2 pitch. This one's going to be fouled by Paige, so we're going to stay at a 2-2 count. Denton this season not only has posted the lowest ERA in the Peach Belt Conference, but has also held opponents to a PBC lowest 1.42 ERA. Denton has also struck out the most batters in the Peach Belt Conference. 123 as this is going to be popped right back to Ward for out number 2 as the sophomore second baseman makes the play there. And the Saints return to the top of their batting order with Sydney Stewart. Stewart, the Saints shortstop, and a 1-0 count against Tybee Denton. Stewart second in the Peach Belt Conference in hits this season, coming into the weekend with 45, trailing 1 behind her teammate, Hannah Smith. So the Saints have 2 of the best batters in the Peach Belt Conference on their side this season. Stewart also has the 4th most doubles in the country with 13 already. As Denton pitches one right down the middle for strike 1. Got Richie on deck as Denton pitches another one down the middle, and just like that, Denton has battled her way into a full count here with Stewart. And the payoff pitch, this is hit right back to Tybee, who throws to first for out number 3, which is going to take us to the bottom of the third. Nighthawks still lead this one 3-0. We'll see if they can extend that lead when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
So if you could buy your next vehicle without going to the dealership, now you can with Beaver Direct. It's fast and really simple. Log on to beavertoyotacumming.com, click on Beaver Direct, quietly shop from hundreds of vehicles, obtain a credit approval, and trade appraisal.
Back with you here in Dahlonega for Game 2 of this best-of-3 series between the Nighthawks and the Saints on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Again, glad to have you all with us this afternoon. You stuck around for Game number 2, coming over from Game number 1. Appreciate you spending your weekend with us. Nighthawks are up to bat, and Katie Ward is going to lead things off here for North Georgia. And she's having a bit of a chuckle here with Emily Ricci, the catcher for the Saints. Katie Ward is 0 for 1 here in Game 2. Was struck out last time she was up to bat by Hester. Sees a strike there. And a swing and a miss from Katie Ward is going to push this to an 0-2 count. Ward's been batting .373 this season, with 22 hits coming into this weekend. She grounds this one to the short. Throw to first is going to make it on time for out number 1. So Ward still without a hit here in Game number 2. Brings Mallory Parker back up into the batter's box. Parker was walked last time she was up to bat. As we mentioned earlier, went 2 for 3 in Game 1. Trying to recapture some of that momentum here. And Mallory Parker has quietly been putting together a phenomenal comeback season after missing most of last season due to an injury. And coming into this weekend, she has 31 hits, 19 RBIs, and 3 home runs in 2024. And if you take out the 7 games she played last year, where she was batting .571 and absolutely killing it last season, she's batting a career-high .383 this season. So it's been great to see her return to the field this year, as she's been a staple in the starting lineup for Coach Davenport for the past few seasons now. As Parker finds herself in a 3-1 count against Hester. With 1 out up on the scoreboard, no runners on for North Georgia. The 3-1 pitch upstairs for ball number 4. And so Parker's going to make her way to first as Hester walks her second batter face this afternoon. So up comes the designated player, Grayson Perry. Was able to get her first hit of the afternoon on her last at-bat. She swings on that pitch from Hester, but misses, makes it an 0-1 count. Got Cindy Blair on deck. And the 0-1 pitch, as this is going to be grounded into center field, as Perry now 2 for 2 this afternoon in Game number 2. puts 2 runners on for North Georgia. So now with Sydney Blair getting ready to step back into the batter's box for North Georgia. Saints are having a conversation here about making a pitching substitution, and it looks like they will do just that. So a short day for Rachel Hester here in Game 2, as the Saints are going to make a pitching substitution, and back in the circle, just like we saw in Game 1, is going to be number 16, Madeline Wise. Wise this season has posted a 2.81 ERA. And in 64 innings of work, she's allowed 63 hits and 34 runs. And 26 of those runs have been earned, with 71 strikeouts and 36 batters walked coming into this weekend. We saw her come in relief of Sheets in Game 1. So a bit of deja vu here from the Nighthawks, as they're going up against Madeline Wise for the second time this afternoon. So up to bat comes Sydney Blair, who's also filling in left field for the injured Jolie Lester. Blair had a hit on her first at-bat. That was her second hit of the afternoon, went 1 for 2 in Game 1. So it's a 1-0 count for Sydney Blair. And the 1-0 pitch. Down the middle, which makes it a 1-1 count as Wise gets her first strike of the afternoon here in Game 2. And the 1-1 pitch to Blair fouls this one out of play, which makes it a 1-2 count. And the Saints snapped a 9-game losing streak to North Georgia in Game 1. And during that 9-game stretch, in which the Nighthawks went undefeated against the Saints, they outscored Flagler 69-5 during that stretch. But we saw Flagler in Game number 1 put up just as many runs in that one that they had against North Georgia in the 9 previous matchups. So still a 1-2 count for Sydney Blair after that foul ball. And the 1-2 pitch, again fouled. So Blair's going to get another crack at it here as the count stays at 1-2. Blair batting .273 on the season, now up to 14 hits after 1 in Game 1 and 1 here in Game 2. She's also got 4 RBIs this season for the Nighthawks. Still got runners on first and second for North Georgia. And another 1-2 pitch outside that top left corner for ball 2. And the 2-2 pitch as Blair keeps this one in the infield. Throw to first is not on time. And for the second straight inning, the bases are loaded for the Nighthawks. And Gracie Mixon will try to capitalize here for North Georgia. She steps back into the batter's box. Mixon, one of many seniors in this Nighthawk starting lineup, as it looks like Coach Davenport is going to put a pinch runner over there on second. And it's going to be Caroline Branch pinch running for the Nighthawks over there on second base. Branch, the sophomore out of Bogart, Georgia. Saw her do some pinch running in game 1 for Coach Davenport. Seen her pinch run in just about every matchup the Nighthawks have been in this season. So the bases are loaded, just one out in the bottom of the third. The senior out of Canton, Georgia, Gracie Mixon, is up to bat, sees ball one low at her feet to make it a 1-0 count. And the 1-0, again outside for ball 2. These are two of the most high-powered offenses in the entire country. North Georgia's batting average of .350 and Flagler's of .340 not only lead the PBC, but also rank top 20 nationally. And Flagler coming into this weekend had 312 hits. North Georgia had 301. Those are the third and fourth most in the country. And the 3-0 pitch to Gracie Mixon. Cuts it inside for strike one. Got Riley Moody on deck for North Georgia. Bases loaded, 3-1 pitch as Mixon fouls this one into right field. So the count's going to run full for Gracie Mixon. About 30 seconds ago, was up 3-0. But Wise has been able to battle her way with Mixon into a full count. And the payoff pitch as Mixon grounds this one, keeps it in the infield. Throw to home plate is not on time as Parker is able to slide in safely. And the Nighthawks are up 4-0 now over the Saints. Bases still loaded. And that RBI from Gracie Mixon puts the Nighthawks up 4-0. And Riley Moody steps back into the batter's box here for North Georgia. The shortstop, Riley Moody, is 1 for 1 today. That one hit had an RBI attached to it. As Moody takes ball one upstairs. We saw the bases loaded for the Nighthawks in game 1. Didn't capitalize on it as much as they would have liked to. Trying to do so here. So they've had bases loaded in back-to-back innings here in the second and the third. As Moody now finds herself in a 2-0 count against Wise. And the pitch is going to be fouled behind Moody to make it a 2-1 count. The Nighthawks leadoff batter, Mariah Wicker, is on deck. And a swing and a miss from Riley Moody. It's going to make it a 2-2 count. So we get the double P signs from the home plate up, a 2-2 count for Riley Moody. And the 2-2 fouled, so the count's going to stay right where it is at 2-2. Riley Moody, a junior out of Douglasville, Georgia, transferred to UNG out of Wallace State. One of a handful of transfers on this North Georgia squad. Another 2-2 pitch as Moody swings and misses on that pitch from Wise, as Wise gets her first strikeout here in game number 2. So it looks like Coach Davenport is going to make a substitution here, and instead of Mariah Wicker coming up to bat, Nighthawks are going to have a pinch hitter, and that's going to be number 22, Mary Seal Brumby, the sophomore out of Cedartown, Georgia. Saw her do some pinch hitting in game 1 in the bottom of the 7th, as Coach Davenport puts in a power hitter here with the bases loaded, as Brumby sees ball 1 from Wise. And this is Mary Seal's 31st appearance at the plate this season for the Nighthawks. She has 10 hits on the season with 4 RBIs. Brumby's still looking for her first home run of the season as well. The 2-0 pitch. It's going to be low for ball 3. Wouldn't expect to see Mary Seal swing on this next pitch. Another ball is going to put another run up on the board here for North Georgia. And the 3-0. Low for ball 4. So with the bases loaded, Nighthawks are going to score another run to go up 5-0. And with 2 outs up on the scoreboard, Nighthawks trying to rally here. Again, something that we've seen them do all season long, battle with 2 outs up on the scoreboard. Saw them do that a lot in the 2023 College World Series. So Mariah Wicker is going to be pinch running on first for the Nighthawks, with Sophie Mooney back up to bat. And this is exactly the position that you want to be in if you're North Georgia, as Mooney hits this one into right, and the Nighthawks are going to go up 7-0 over the Saints, as Sophie Mooney has been sensational today. She is perfect this weekend, and she is now 7 for 7 at the plate to put the Nighthawks up 7-0. So this Nighthawk offense has come alive here in game 2. Georgia Blair back up to bat here for North Georgia. She's 1 for 2 in game 2. She's got runners on first and second. Got Mariah over there on second, and Mooney over there in familiar territory on first. But she sees a strike there from Wise to make it a 1-1 count. And the 1-1 pitch, low for ball 2. And this is just what the doctor ordered if you're Coach Davenport and the Nighthawks. 3 runs in the second and 4 here in the third, as they try to even this series against one of the best teams in the Peach Belt Conference, as Blair just tips this one. So deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs up on the scoreboard. 2 runners on for North Georgia as well. And the 2-2 pitch, swinging a drive deep into right field, and that one is back at the wall, as Coach Davenport is going to wave home Mariah Wicker and Sophie Mooney, as Georgia Blair has herself a triple to put the Nighthawks up 9-0 here in Game 2. And what an answer here for the Nighthawks as they go up 9-0, trying to even this series, and showing everybody why they are the number 1 ranked team in the country. And the 2-out rally continues here with Katie Ward stepping back up to bat here for the Nighthawks. Ward sees a strike there to make it an 0-1 count. Got a runner in scoring position over there on third with Georgia Blair. Finds herself down 0-2. Got Mallory Parker on deck. Ward's able to make something happen here. And the 0-2. A swing and a miss from Katie Ward is going to end this third inning, but not before the Nighthawks post 6 runs in the bottom of the third to go up 9-0 here in game number 2. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching the North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Northeast Georgia Health System is a proud supporter of North Georgia Nighthawk Athletics.
Back with you here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And North Georgia, just like that, finds himself up 9-0 over Flagler College. And after a game 1 that saw the Saints up big for almost the entirety of the game, the Nighthawks have flipped the script and are now up 9-0 as we head to the top of the 4th, where Emily Ritchie is going to lead things off here for the Saints in the top of the 4th inning. The Saints catcher 0 for 1 here in game 2, fouls this one behind her to make the count 0-1. And after the 9 runs here in game 2 and the 3 in game 1, the Nighthawks have put 262 total runs up on the board this season, which is the 3rd most nationally. One of the most high-powered offenses that you'll see is going up against a Flagler team that also has one of the best offenses in not just the Peach Belt Conference, but in the nation as well. We mentioned how good their offense has been in Game 1, but a team batting average of .340 is absolutely sensational. As this is going to be fouled back by Ricci to make it a 1-2 count still. And the Saints, now 25-9 on the season, are putting together what looks like their best season in program history. Their 25 wins are the most since 2022. And with the pace that they've been on, the most wins in program history is in the realm of possibility. 42-18 during the 2011 season, a win mark that still stands strong to this day. As this is going to be fouled by Ricci to keep the count at 2-2. And Emily had a grand slam a few days ago against Allen University on Wednesday. One of the 49 home runs for the Saints this season, as this is going to get over the head of Riley Moody. So the outstretched arm there of the shortstop, Riley Moody, couldn't make the play, and the Saints get their first hit here in game number 2, courtesy of Emily Ricci. And so up to bat now is Hannah Smith. And Smith has had just about as good of a start to a career as you could have asked for the Saints. Coming into today, she's batting .426, which is the 4th best in the Peach Belt Conference, and has the most hits out of any player in the PBC, with 46, which is the 12th most in the country. And I guess that just goes to show you how competitive the Peach Belt Conference is, because a .426 batting average is absurd. But the fact that that's 4th in the Peach Belt Conference is just a testament to the quality of players that are in the Peach Belt Conference this season. And the PBC has always been extremely competitive, always seeing players rank nationally in a number of statistical categories, as this is going to be popped up to Sydney Blair over there in left for out number 1. And so Cassidy Crump is going to step back into the batter's box here for the Saints. Crump 0 for 1 here in game 2. But Crump on the season has been batting .320 with 33 hits this season. She's one of 6 Saints to have over 30 hits on the year. Finds herself in a 2-0 count against Tybee Denton. And the 2-0 pitch to Crump, down the middle from Tybee, makes it 2-1. And even though the Nighthawks are up 9-0, this Saints offense is more than capable of climbing their way back into a game as one of the most high-powered offenses in the Peach Belt Conference, with some standout players on this Flagler roster. The 3-1 pitch. This is going to be hit into foul territory and over the Saints bullpen, which makes the count run full for Crump. And Cassidy Crump had 3 home runs on Wednesday against Allen University in that doubleheader. She's got a runner on first right now, but takes ball 4 from Tybee, which puts runners on first and second with 1 out in the top of the 4th. That's going to bring up Kyla Kinnear back up to bat. The left fielder for the Saints was struck out on her last plate appearance as she grounds this one into shallow center field. Over there at second, the play is made. And that's going to put runners on the corners for the Saints with 2 outs. And Mackenzie Smith back up to bat here for Flagler. Smith was walked on her last plate appearance. Has a runner in scoring position. Takes ball 1 there from Tybee Denton. Smith this season has been batting .343 with 36 hits and 33 RBIs on the year. And those 33 RBIs tied with Cassidy Crump for the most on this Saints roster. Smith also has 8 home runs this year, also tied with Cassidy Crump for the most on the team. The 1-1 pitch, outside for ball 2. This is the best opportunity that Flagler has had to score here in Game 2. And the 2-1, this is hit right back to Tybee, but off of her glove as the Nighthawks are unable to make a play. And the Saints put their first run up on the board here in game number 2. So Flagler trying to mount a 2-out rally of their own. Brings up Riley Kona-Walchuk, who was struck out by Tybee Denton last time she was in this situation. One of 2 strikeouts for Denton this afternoon. And the 0-1 pitch. It's going to be low for ball 1. Per 7 innings, Tybee is only allowing 3.4 hits, which is the second lowest in the country. We mentioned earlier that dynamic duo of Denton and Davis are one of the best that you'll see. And the seniors have posted the 2 best ERAs in the Peach Belt Conference, where they combined 197 strikeouts with 7 shutouts and 14 wins each this season. Denton's not going to be able to add to her shutout total this afternoon, as the Saints are on the board here in the top of the 4th with a run. So deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 2 runners on for the Saints as Sydney Blair makes a terrific diving catch on the turf. And the Saints put a run up on the board to make this a 9-1 game. But a terrific play from Sydney Blair keeps them from scoring even more here in game number 2. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Here in game number 2 between the number 1 ranked team in the nation, North Georgia, and Flagler College in this best of 3 PBC series. The Nighthawks trying to even the series at 1 after Flagler took down North Georgia in game 1 about an hour and a half ago to beat the Nighthawks for the first time since March of 2019. This was also the first win for the Saints in Dahlonega in 10 years. March of 2014 was the last time the Saints came to the Gold City and were victorious over the Nighthawks. So a big win for Flagler in game number 1. North Georgia looking to get back into this PBC series. Here in game 2, Mallory Parker is leading things off here for the Nighthawks in the bottom of the 4th. Finds herself in a 1-1 count after that strike there from Wise. And the 1-1 pitch. Just inside for strike 2. And historically, this matchup has favored North Georgia, who are now 31-9 in head-to-head matchups with Flagler, 13-4 at home against the Saints. As Parker fouls this one back to keep the count at 1-2. And the last time that Flagler beat North Georgia, as we mentioned, was April 12th of 2019. Flagler actually won both games of a doubleheader against North Georgia, and that was one of only 2 times that the Saints beat the Nighthawks twice in the same season. North Georgia would then go on to get their revenge in the PBC semifinals that same year, beating the cliche of it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. So a 2-2 count for number 2, Mallory Parker. Shows bunt, pulls it back, fouls this one back at the net covering Bob Stein Stadium. So the count's going to stay where it is at 2-2. As Wise gets a signal, 2-2 pitch. Parker again fouls this one. So she's going to get another crack at it here with a 2-2 count. Almost a year ago to the date, these two teams squared off in the regular season. The Nighthawks shut out the Saints in every game en route to the sweep last year. Game 1 saw the Nighthawks win 12-0. As Parker grounds this one, keeps it in the infield. And the shortstop throws to first. And it's not going to get there on time, as it looks like Smith's foot was off the bag, and Parker is going to get on first. And it looks like Coach Davenport is going to make a substitution here for the Nighthawks, and we may see a pinch runner on first, potentially. And it looks like we will, as Mallory Parker steps off and Caitlin Johnson steps on for North Georgia. The freshman out of Monroe, Georgia, graduated from Walnut Grove High School. Did some pinch running in Game 1. Gonna see her do some pinch running here in Game 2. So Grayson Perry now up to bat here for North Georgia. Nighthawks up 9-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Have scored in back-to-back innings. Looking to add to their totals here as Perry takes a strike from Wise to make it an 0-1 count. As Perry takes ball 1 from Wise. As we mentioned, the Nighthawks swept the Saints last season. They won Game 1 12-0, which was their largest margin of victory over the Saints. And that was until Game 2 started, which saw the Nighthawks win 13-0, taking over the largest margin of victory spot. As Johnson's able to slide into second safely. So now a runner in scoring position for Grayson Perry if she's able to poke something down in the outfield in a 1-2 count against Wise. And the 1-2 pitch as this is driven into left field but fouled. So the count's going to stay put at 1-2. And that 13-0 win for North Georgia in Game 2 last season over Flagler College was highlighted by a grand slam from Hannah Forehand in the 3rd inning as she and Sophie Mooney combined for 9 RBIs in the win. Speaking of Hannah Forehand, she's in attendance for today's game along with Olivia Sinkfield and Maddie Perry, the 3 seniors on this North Georgia roster that graduated last season. As Grayson Perry grounds one into center field as she's making her way for 2, and she's going to be safe. And the Nighthawks are going to go up 10-0. Or 10-1, excuse me, here in game 2 as Perry is able to get onto second base. And it's just like that again, a 9-run lead for North Georgia. Nighthawks in great position here with no outs. A runner on second, Sydney Blair up to bat. And the Nighthawks have now scored runs in back-to-back-to-back innings. As Blair keeps this one fair, Perry in a bit of a pickle here as she's able to not outrun the tag. So she's going to be out over there between second and third. And Sydney Blair is going to be over there on first. And it looks like Coach Davenport's going to make another substitution here, this time a pinch hitter. And it's going to be number 32, Aniston Wright, stepping into the batter's box here for North Georgia. Aniston Wright, the junior out of Sonoya, Georgia, graduated from East Coweta High School, seeing her first action of the series here for the Nighthawks. Aniston Wright, a dual threat player for the Nighthawks. Whether she's up to bat or she's in the circle, she's a part of that very experienced Nighthawk bullpen that North Georgia has carried over from the 2023 run at a PBC championship, also a regional championship, and a 2023 national championship. As Wright is now up 2-0 against Wise. And this is Aniston Wright's third at-bat of the season. She has one hit so far. That one hit did have an RBI attached to it. And if you go back and rewatch the documentary about North Georgia's run to a 2023 national championship, there's a big section in there about Aniston Wright and how clutch she was in the middle of the season for North Georgia, coming up big after the Nighthawks had dropped a couple of games mid-season, specifically dropping a PBC series to rival team Columbus State. But the Nighthawks stayed the course, and Aniston Wright had some huge games for the Nighthawks as they rounded out their regular season, as she pops this one up between first and second. And that's going to be caught for out number 2. So Aniston Wright unable to get her second hit of the season. It's going to bring Riley Moody back into the batter's box. So we still got Sydney Blair over there on first for North Georgia. The shortstop, Riley Moody, back up to bat, who's 1 for 2 in game 2 with an RBI. She swings hard on that pitch from Wise, but misses to bring us to an 0-1 count. And the 0-1 pitch upstairs for ball 1. Right now, it's a great time to be a fan of UNG athletics. Every one of North Georgia's eligible teams are currently nationally ranked. North Georgia baseball ranked for the first time since 2020. Jumped up to number 15 in the nation this week. Unfortunately, have dropped a couple of games this week, so we could see them drop in the rankings as well. But it's been a fantastic season up to this point for Coach Cantrell and North Georgia baseball. So it's a 2-2 count for Riley Moody back at home plate. 2s across the scoreboard, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. And the 2-2 pitch to Moody is going to be fouled. So we'll stay put at a 2-2 count. And North Georgia baseball dropped game 1 today against Lander 5-6. That's the 3rd game that they've lost this week. Now 19-7 on the season, looking for their revenge here in game 2, just around the corner between these two squads. Playing in a doubleheader after the schedule was moved around a bit. Series was supposed to start yesterday, but due to some rain, the Nighthawks and the Bearcats playing in a doubleheader this afternoon, with the series finale starting at 1 p.m. tomorrow in Greenwood, South Carolina. So as North Georgia baseball looks to rebound in game 2 of their doubleheader, so does North Georgia, as they're up 10-1 here, as Blair is able to get off first, makes her way to second. And Riley Moody is now in a full count against Wise. She's able to get something down in right field. Should be enough to score Sydney Blair. And the payoff pitch. This one's going to be fouled. This count's going to stay right where it is at 3-2. Don't believe it's going to count as a stolen base for Sydney Blair, but that's something that the Nighthawks have thrived in all season long, averaging almost 3 stolen bases per game, which is 13th most nationally. They have the 4th most in Division II with 91 this year. As Riley Moody is going to take ball 4 upstairs, puts runners on first and second, and it looks like Coach Davenport is going to have a pinch runner or a pinch hitter in for Mariah Wicker at the top of the batting order. So now we're going to see number 7, Madison Simmons, up to bat here for the Nighthawks. Simmons, a senior out of Sewanee, Georgia, seeing her first action of the series here for Coach Davenport and the Nighthawks. This is Simmons' 17th at-bat of the season. And in those 17 at-bats, she's been batting .313 with 5 hits and 7 RBIs. So Coach Davenport swaps out a senior for a senior. As Simmons has 2 runners on, as she sees a strike there from Wise for an 0-1 count. Now a 1-1 count for Madison Simmons after that pitch is outside from Wise. Nighthawks now have 263 total runs that they have scored this season, which is the 3rd most nationally. We could see that number go up even more, potentially see them get into the number 2 or potentially the number 1 spot after this weekend. So deuces are running wild here at the Hill. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. In the bottom of the 4th, 2 runners on for North Georgia. Simmons trying to keep this 2-out rally alive here for the Nighthawks. And the 2-2 pitch. This one's going to be in the dirt from Wise for ball 3 as the Nighthawks find themselves in another full count. And the payoff pitch. This is going to be grounded into center field. And here come the Hawks putting even more runs up on the board as Madison Simmons is going to score Sidney Blair. And the Nighthawks lead this one 11-1, running away with it here in game number 2. This has been a great rebound game for the Nighthawks here in game 2 after dropping game 1, getting caught off guard early after the Saints' high-powered offense came out swinging in game 1 to go up 4-0 in the first inning. But the Nighthawks have had a great answer here in game 2 as they try to even the series. Sophie Mooney is back up to bat. Finds herself in a 1-0 count. Now a 1-1 count after she fouls this one. And Mooney has had about as good of a game as you could have asked for the senior. A perfect 7 for 7 this weekend as she grounds this one up the left field line, and Mooney proves she's human here as the Saints make the out at third, and that's going to take us to the top of the 5th. Nighthawks lead this one 11-1 and could potentially close things out when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here in the Gold City of Dahlonega on a golden Saturday afternoon here in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains as the Nighthawks are trying to secure a Game 2 win over Flagler to try to even the series at 1-1 as North Georgia and Tybee Denton try to close things out here in the top of the 5th. And what an answer it's been for North Georgia here in Game 2. After being held scoreless in Game 1 until the 7th inning, where the Nighthawks put 3 runs up on the board, have put 11 up here in game number 2. And Kirsten James is going to lead things off here for the Saints in the top of the 5th. Finds herself in a 1-0 count against Tybee Denton. Now a 2-0 count. Saints making the 450-mile trip up to the Gold City of Dahlonega, about a 7.5-hour drive up north. Got a decent amount of Flagler fans in attendance for today's game. Flagler, the only PBC softball team located in the Sunshine State. As this is going to be fouled. So it's a 2-2 count for James. As we get the double peace signs from the home plate ump. Maybe doesn't look like we're going to get them. Doesn't matter, count's still 2-2. As Tybee pitches one low and the count runs full. So Georgia Blair is going to make her way out to the circle to talk things over here with Tybee. Nighthawks wearing their navy blue and red uniforms this afternoon for Military Appreciation Day. Again, we want to thank all of you who fight for our freedom at home and abroad each and every day. Whether you're an active or retired military member, thank you for making the sacrifices that not many people are willing to make. So again, thank you for your service. And so Kirsten is able to make her way to first, battling in a full count with Tybee Denton as she pitches ball 4. That's going to bring up Paige Masada. The center fielder for the Saints is looking for her first hit here in Game 2. But she sees a strike there from Tybee Denton to make it an 0-1 count. Earlier this week on Tuesday, North Georgia men's basketball continued to rewrite the record books as the Nighthawks won the NCAA Division II Southeast Regional Tournament for the first time in program history. And the scene across the street at Lynn Cottrell Arena was unlike anything that I've ever seen. A record 3,767 fans packed the Convocation Center to watch the Nighthawks make history, taking down Lander 70-67 in the championship game. And it's been such an incredible season for UNG men's basketball, and they're still dancing in the tournament. Earlier today, the team left for Evansville, Indiana, for the NCAA Division II men's basketball championship. They'll be taking on West Texas A&M in the Elite Eight on Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. So congratulations to Coach Evans and everyone on the Nighthawk roster and coaching staff. Nighthawk Nation is rooting for you as the team continues to rewrite the record books and chase history this season. So it's a full count for Paige. Runner on first as she fouls this one out of play. So we're going to stay put at a 3-2 count. Still no outs in the top of the 5th for Flagler. As we were just talking about North Georgia men's basketball, we saw them take down Flagler in the PBC championship game, 70-60. In one of their 2 championships that they've already secured this season, a PBC championship and a Southeast Regional championship, as we just mentioned. And they're still going, looking for a national championship this season. Speaking of national championship, North Georgia softball looking to go back-to-back in the national championship, something that hasn't been done in Division II softball in almost 40 years. So the odds are stacked against them, but if anybody's able to come away with back-to-back natties, it's the Nighthawks, as they are chasing history of their own. So assistant coach Aaliyah Medina coming out to the circle to talk things over here with Tybee and Georgia. As this game still isn't over yet, we mentioned earlier, this Saints offense is one of the best that you'll see this season. More than capable of battling their way back into a game as they return to the top of their batting order with Sydney Stewart, as she sees a strike there from Tybee to make it an 0-1 count. Got runners on first and second for the Saints. And another one down the middle from Tybee Denton makes it a quick 0-2 count for Stewart. And the 0-2 just outside for ball 1. If you're the Saints, you're looking for a double here from Stewart. She has the 4th most in the country with 13 already this season. She grounds this one up the left field line as Gracie Mixon will make the play over there at third. She's able to tag the base in time for out number 1, which is going to keep runners on first and second. Mixon making the right play there. Which brings Emily Ricci back up to bat. 1 for 2 today. Also has a run scored while she's been on base. finds herself in a 1-0 count against Tybee Denton. After a historic couple of games on Wednesday, the Saints are now up to 49 home runs on the year, which is now the team's single-season home run record. And there's still plenty of games left to be played this season for Flagler to continue piling on to that record. We mentioned a few times today, it's been a historic season for the Saints as this is grounded to Moody, and the throw to first gets there on time as the Nighthawks make the double play to end game number 2. And so that is gonna do it. The Nighthawks take game 2 of the series, improving to 31-4 on the year, and they get back into the win column against the Saints as Flagler's 6-game winning streak comes to an end. And the Saints drop just their second road game of the season. Now 25-10 overall, sets up a terrific series finale in store for us tomorrow, with this one tied at 1-1. We'll be back with you tomorrow for Game 3 of our PB series between North Georgia and Flagler. First pitch is set for 12 p.m. right back here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium and on the Nighthawk Sports Network. On behalf of the rest of the NSN team, this is Robert DiClemente saying thanks so much for watching. Again, your final score in Game 2, Nighthawks win big, 11-1. So long, and have a great rest of your Saturday.